the company, and that's a stock which is on our radar. In fact, the stock has gained close to about 13 to 14% just in yesterday's trade. Today, it's come in for some amount of profit booking, down about 2.5%. Sanjeev Kaushik of IFCI joins us on the phone line. Mr. Kaushik, good morning. You've intimated to the exchanges that you plan to sell only 25% of your holding. So that is roughly a 0.8% stake in the upcoming IPO of NSE. What was the reason for only, the partial stake sale? Why not sell the entire amount and unlock the value?
No, that's right. Our board of directors had taken a decision to sell only 25% in this upcoming IPO. I think the reasoning behind that was to try and maximize our gains post-listing also. If any, there are lock-in periods, then we would like to maximize our gains. I mean, we know that NSE is a world-class organization with a market leadership position. So therefore, post-IPO also, I see prospects for NSE improving, if anything else. So I think the board took that decision thinking that we will offload 25% now and then look opportunistically to take profits in the future.
All right, Mr. Kaushik, I want to ask you a more basic question. What is the total holding that IFC has? The total holding directly as well as indirectly. And also tell us what kind of holding you have in stock holding and what kind of percentage do they have? Is it 100% subsidiary?
Right. So IFCI is holding 3.05% directly. That's about 13,72,000 shares. And Stockholding owns about 4.4% stake in NSE.
Right.
And as you know, Stockholding is our 100% subsidiary.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. So what plans to, sell the 4.4% stake that you have through Stockholding?
Currently, no plans as such. I think the directors of Stockholding have decided not to offload at this point of time.
All right. So you're going to be holding on, Stockholding will be holding on to that 4.4%. So
yes.
I wanted to know, what's the method you're going to be choosing to sell this 25% of that 3% stake that you're talking about? Will it be OFS? Will you sell it on market, off market? Will you be looking to sell it, to a third party? What's it? I mean, what do you all have in your mind?
Yeah, we've chosen the OFS route, I think, as a part of the IPO. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have a lock-in for your remaining stake?
Yes, there is a 1-year lock-in.
All right. Okay. So I just want to understand as well, what's the cost of acquisition? And you're going to be selling it via the OFS route. You'll be having some idea about how does the taxation work?
I'll have to double check that and get back to you. I've recently taken over IFCI, so
right.
I will have to get back to you.
All right. Mr. Kaushik, could you give us some sense about what is the cost of acquisition? And more importantly, once you start selling the stake, that's big money. You're talking about 3% stake. That's worth close to around 1,200 crores roughly if you just go upon by NSE valuation of around 40,000 crores. So what was the cost of acquisition of the stake that you're holding in NSE? And as you said, you've just taken over, so I don't know whether you'll be able to answer that. But what will these funds be used for? Are you going to be using this good money to deploy it back in the old business, which, of course, hasn't been very successful with the asset quality deteriorating?
Yes, the stake was acquired a number of years ago at about 130 crores subject to confirmation.
Okay.
And, we've been partially divesting some portions of that stake. Earlier this year, in 2016, we had divested some portions. I think we realized an average value of about 4,000 rupees per share.
Okay.
Now, the proceeds in itself would be used for shoring up our capital. I think strategically, IFCI needs to focus in the medium to long term on its core lending business. I think these proceeds will be useful for enhancing our capital. We already have a very comfortable capital adequacy position, but we would look forward to enhance our net worth and use this for our lending business.
Okay. Immediately, I think you would be close to getting, about 300 odd crore from by selling this 25% of your direct holding.
That's
close to that?
We are not keeping a target figure in mind. There are various calculations. One of those calculations could, yes, be around that number that you say. But I think we'll go through the book running process and wait for the management and the directors to take a call.
Fair enough. But we're guessing it will be around that, give or take, a couple of percentage points. With the money which is getting infused into IFCI, what would the new capital ratios look like?
Currently, we are around 17% capital to risk assets ratio. So this number would go into enhancing that, I think, by a little bit.
All right, Mr. Kaushik, very quickly, could you tell us what's the value of the real estate that you hold in IFCI? Because the government of India, just maybe a few days ago, they were talking about selling a pharma company, that's a government-held pharma company's real estate assets. Any such plans? Have you heard anything about that? Because you all are sitting on some good real estate assets.
That's right. We are sitting on quite a few non-core investments and non-core holdings, including real estate assets, properties,
Right.
and some of them have been sold in the past. We would be looking to sharpen our focus more going forward. But for the particular example that you've given or the case that you are talking about, we have heard nothing, and there have been no discussions.
Value of that land, sir?
I wouldn't readily have that
right.
number. Yes.
All right, Mr. Kaushik. Thanks so much, sir, for joining in and giving us all those details. The stock is under pressure.